kita lelaki tend to always forget our roots once we have achieved something. My life was good at that point of time. My wife gave birth, aku dah jadi foreman. I am able to get about 4k plus. Aku pun dah start beli kereta. But then aku start to lupa diri, dapat surat NS, and I got to find out that aku punya gaji was 420. I am literally left with nothing. Aku sampai dah fikir nak buat benda salah semua tau. And slowly aku punya life pun dah start to wobble. Sometimes apa je ni kita pilih ni, tak semestinya oh tak apa aku jahat sekarang, satu hari aku akan berubah. Itu kalau kau berubah. Yo, what's good guys? Assalamualaikum. Welcome back to another episode with me, Hassan Rahman, in Rebuild Podcast. So, the previous episode aku ceritakan pasal aku punya journey bila aku baru keluar, how aku managed to get back on my feet, to start back fresh, and how aku move on dengan aku punya life. So, aku nak cakap pasal struggles aku Actually, aku tahu many people out there, dorang lagi way much more worse than apa yang aku dah pernah lalui. I believe there are some who are in fact still struggling right now. So, dorang macam don't know where and how to start. And usually, bila dorang nak start, dorang nak buat, ada je masalah yang datang, ada je problem that and the challenges yang dorang kena go through, which is normal. To me, which is normal. So, it is actually how engkau able to adapt to this kind of situation. Macam mana kau nak kena overcome and go through it, and slowly kau move on to the next chapter of kau punya life. So, like I said, aku may struggle to compare with a lot of people out there, tak seberapa mana pun. Aku tahu ada banyak lagi orang susah dekat sana. And reason juga aku buat podcast ni is bukan untuk aku nak tunjuk aku ni mana-mana. Aku bukan nak cakap aku ni advisor ke, consultant ke. No, I'm not. It's just that aku just want to share with people. And I want people to know that you will have to go through challenges in life, and you will see the light at the end of the tunnel. Okay. So, hidup aku dulu memang songsang. Hidup aku songsang. Aku memang leave my past behind walls, fights, and all the shit that aku have went through. So, when and exactly bila yang aku berubah is bila aku dah keluar TC, aku jumpa agama, Alhamdulillah. Okay, bukan cakap aku ni sekadar hijrah. I'm not the right person to say that. It's just that I did mention in my previous episode, I spoke about amanah. I spoke about responsibility. I'm just doing my responsibility as a Muslim. Okay, and itu adalah amanah kita sebagai orang Islam. Aku just buat apa yang patut. So nak cakap aku hijrah, I'm not the right person to say that aku dah hijrah lah. But that is where aku nampak agama, because agama ni is the tiang that buat aku bersemangat, and aku rasa macam well protected bila aku ada doa. And doa ni is actually one of the most powerful weapon lah, which aku selalu pakai. So, aku dah keluar TC, aku dah settle down, aku dah dapat kerja, aku dah jumpa ada mata air. So, things were getting better. And aku dah focus on finding a stable job, which is a chef. Aku dah dapat kerja kat hawker center. So, bila aku dah kerja, dah best, kerja semua dah Alhamdulillah, dah okay. Then my wife gave birth. I got a letter, dapat surat NS, and I got to find out that, I don't know, I think NS now is what 1,000, 1,001 salary around there. Yeah, and sekarang that point of time aku punya gaji was 420. So aku try to appeal, it got rejected. Aku step gila, aku step violent, semua aku dah pakai, semua kad aku dah campak, aku dah pergi IMH semua to get exempted, and it failed. But thankfully aku dapat PES-E. Aku dapat PES-E, meaning to say that aku tak payah stay in. Aku masuk army, so aku tak payah stay in. So aku shared in my previous episode that aku nangis. Aku literally nangis. Aku dapat surat tu, aku dah breakdown. Aku dapat tahu gaji pun 420, aku dah breakdown. Aku dah start kira. Aku did my calculation. Anak aku susu, that point of time, $50. $50 boleh tahan seminggu. Seminggu lebih lah. 1 bulan is already about 200. Itu baru susu. Belum lagi pampers. So when I did my calculation, 400 memang tak cukup lah. Put aside aku punya EZ-Link, it's about 100. Walaupun pakai army NS punya concession or whatsoever. Okay, put aside duit rokok, duit nafkah, gedebak-gedebuk, I am literally left with nothing. That 400 is not enough to even cover my family's expenses. Tak mau cakap diri aku lah, just untuk anak aku je, memang tak cukup. So aku dapat 400. Aku dah itu lagi buat aku breakdown. Pasal apa? Aku tahu macam mana aku nak tanggung anak aku, family aku. Macam mana aku nak tanggung? Okay. So benda-benda macam gini kadang-kadang dia lagi frustrating bila orang mengata-ngatakan, orang mengata kau, macam mana ni kau nak survive? Boleh ke? Macam nak tanggung so anak kau? Macam mana sih gini? Jadi kau dah start to doubt yourself. So this self-doubting ni nanti aku akan cover in the next upcoming episode. But that point of time aku dah doubt diri aku that okay, I'm gonna fail as a father, as a husband. Because at the end of the day, it's still about money. So when you have less money, you have no money, kira kau macam failure. Because you don't have that enough to support your family. So aku dah tahu that aku tak tahu macam aku nak live aku punya life. But my wife was very supportive. Dia cakap aku, just masuk je, kita make do. Because my wife at that point tak boleh kerja. Because dia kena jaga anak aku. In-laws aku semua kerja. So aku dah plan. And satu the best thing about setting goals ni engkau tak akan putus asa untuk cari jalan. That is the beauty when you keep finding goals, you keep finding purpose in life every day, without realizing yang actually kau akan tiba-tiba dapat opportunities yang kau tak expect dia akan datang. Kau tak akan expect dia akan datang. Honestly, when you are in NS, you're not supposed to work. Okay, you're not supposed to work. So aku dah buntu, aku dah stress macam mana aku sampai dah fikir nak buat benda salah semua tau. But I know that would make the situation much more worse. So aku kan kerja kat call center. Jadi aku tanya bos aku, boleh tak aku dah doa, aku macam this is my last resort lah. Kira ini kalau betul tak boleh dapat, aku akan appeal to the president atau whatsoever lah. So aku dah try tanya bos aku. Aku cakap dengan dia yang aku nak kerja part time, boleh tak? Dia cakap dengan aku, better. Why? Kau kerja part time, I pay you lesser. Aku happy gila. And he offered me $7 per hour. So aku pun dah start do my calculation. And luckily aku dapat PES-E. Why? Because PES-E kau tak payah stay in. Kau akan balik every day, office hours. Saturday Sunday kau buka lah, kau tak payah stay in. So bila aku dah masuk NS, dia offer aku $7 per hour. Aku did my calculation based on the opening hours. Aku dah pernah kerja sana, aku tahu kan dia pay timing tu semua. So bila aku kira should be okay, should be able to survive. But dia macam ngam-ngam lah, cukup-cukup. Nak plus dengan duit belanja anak aku, duit expenses aku, dia macam cukup-cukup. So aku dah tahu dia pay susah, that it has to be more. Kalau just rely on weekend saja, memang aku akan still struggle. So let's say aku kerja 10 jam on Saturday Sunday, $70 a day, aku ni get 140. So 140 by 1 month, aku will get about 600 plus, 700 plus. Then plus dengan aku punya gaji NS. So pada aku still okay. Cuma the problem is aku tak ada time lah dengan family aku. Because Monday to Friday aku NS, Saturday sana aku jaga center. So aku keep finding ways macam mana aku nak earn more. So what I did was aku keep playing with MC. Aku main MC. Aku MC, aku kerja. Memang tu salah, tapi demi anak aku, I will do it. So it come to a point sampai aku punya officer tahu. Tapi officer aku had a very good debate with me. Dia sampai mengalah dengan aku lah. Dia cakap dengan aku, terpulang kau, gasak kau nak apa pun kau buat. So when I accumulated my MC, it was 1 year 1 month of MC. Kira NS is 2 years kan. Tapi kalau kira my whole MC, dah kira 1 year plus me MC. The days accumulate. So that means aku pergi NS ni sebenarnya berapa bulan aja. It only takes how many months aja in my NS. But those, until I went to every clinic, every hospital sampai dah kena blacklist. Datang nak register je reject. And I'm not supposed to take MC in private clinic, but my officer was very understanding at that point of time. So towards the end, dia dah kasih aku because aku dah kena blacklist. I can only come as a visitor, but I cannot get MC. So aku was blacklisted. It was very tough at that point of time. And I still remember those days when baru-baru time aku NS tu kan, aku tak boleh MC. So aku baru, so I don't know the trick how to play MC or whatsoever. So imagine that aku kena masuk camp pukul 7.30. I have to wake up as early as 5:30. So aku dengan baju NS aku pergi camp. Dah habis saja NS, check buka pukul 5, 5.30. Pukul 6 tak salah aku buka. Sambung kerja kat hawker center. So from 7 until 10. Pasal aku punya kedai tutup pukul 10. That hawker center shop the stall closed at 10. So everyday repeat life aku macam gitu for a couple of months. So literally aku punya, and sampai to the extent dulu time aku berbaru atau aku nak ambil MC aku balik lambat. Aku sampai rumah aku 11.30, 12 gitu. So aku naik bas balik jauh. Aku sampai takut nak tidur, because kalau aku tidur aku akan terlajak. So aku takut aku masuk NS, kalau aku pergi camp aku lambat atau whatever, case masuk DB. Jadi aku menjadi macam takut. So due to that, aku tak tidur. Kadang-kadang aku sampai that point of time zaman black shot. Tentu kalau korang ada main black shot, aku main black shot. Tidur tahan sampai pagi, pergi camp. Dah habis camp pukul 6, terus sambung pergi kerja. Repeat. So my rest time and my sleeping time was only inside the bus. Kira pergi dengan from camp to the workplace and from the workplace to my home. That is my sleeping time. Sebab aku kadang takut nak tidur, aku bangun lambat. So after a couple of months tu baru aku fikir, sampai bila nak macam ni. So that's where aku start to play MC. Because bila aku play MC, aku get to clock in more hours on the weekdays. And aku alhamdulillah, that's where bila aku realise that the more aku determine to find ways, the more aku determine to do something to get what I want, the opportunities will automatically come without kau realizing that. Kau tak terfikir tau benda ni akan jadi, tapi kau find ways, kau keep cari, dia akan datang kat kau. Itu yang aku surprise. But what I'm trying to say here is bila ini semua struggle dia, aku jadi macam rasa that it's a normal thing for me. Dah tak jadi struggle dah untuk aku. Aku sampai tak tahu erti penat. Serius aku cakap, sumpah aku sampai tak tahu erti penat. Because aku tak nak be the one stress pasal tak cukup tidur. Aku tak nak stress pasal tak cukup duit. Aku just do what I have to do. As long as the responsibilities are met, aku dah syukur, alhamdulillah, aku dah happy. But that is the part where aku find the beautiful meaning of life. Bila kau susah, engkau struggle, ada je Tuhan akan datang nak kasih kau something that kau tak akan suffer for a very long time. Melainkan if you yourself make your life miserable. Because to me, I take it as this is a challenge. I have to overcome it. I have to find ways. Rather than you giving up, you just have to keep pushing and tell yourself that there's always ways. So dia akan datang. It's like a law of attraction. The more you look for it, the more of it will come. Okay, so bila aku dah start dengan the normal routine, So that's where bila aku dah ORD, alhamdulillah dah settle. Aku pun tak ada sampai wall ni semua, tak ada lah. Still able to complete 2 years. And biasa lah, bila dah, the more kau dah live dan kau nak ada rumah, kau nak ada ni, I realise that makin hari ni macam makin banyak benda nak bayar. And at the same time, aku sampai fikir betul, aku kerja just to pay off expenses, tapi tak ada time sangat nak keluar, tak ada time sangat nak enjoy, macam tersekat. So of course you want to have family time, you want to go out with your family, you need money. Of course they say, oh never mind lah, can just don't need money, spend, just lepak kat tepi pantai. Tepi pantai, naik bas, makan pun duit juga. So I keep telling myself, how am I going to grow? But at that point of time, aku pula very very low self-esteem. Aku sampai sekarang actually, even when aku nak buat this podcast, aku memang terus terang kan, aku drag because aku tak ada self-confidence. Memang aku dulu tak ada confidence dengan diri aku. That's why sekarang baru aku start to do Instagram, TikTok. Tapi memang aku tak confident dengan diri aku, because I was doubting myself. And bila aku dah rasa that okay lah, tak apa lah, kita just find ways. Because aku dah tahu that aku cuma boleh kerja as chef, aku dah selesa. Okay, but aku nak upgrade diri aku nak cari benda baru. They see pula my experience working at hawker center, so it's not credible enough for me to work in a restaurant settings or a hotel settings. They still come back to me saying that they need at least ada O-level, N-level. So aku dah tahu I have to face this. I don't have these certifications, but aku bilang diri aku mesti ada cara jalan dia, mesti ada way that I can meet to my goals. So banyak orang nanti dia banyak orang akan cakap tau, oh aku pelajaran tak tinggi lah, aku tak boleh kerja ni lah, tak boleh kerja tu lah. Yes, in fact memang betul. It's true that you don't have a certain qualification, you cannot work this, work that, work this, work that. So dia dah jadi macam a stereotype where orang yang tak ada pelajaran, dia cuma kerja A. Okay, contohlah macam certain work like this, aku tak nak cakap pasal aku takut nanti orang akan be unhappy about it. Oh dia tak ada pelajaran, so dia boleh kerja macam gini je. So aku sampai plan diri aku will prove to people that although aku tak ada pelajaran, aku boleh belajar. Tapi pada aku dah tak ada time nak belajar, because I have to focus on finding income for my family. Kalau aku can turn back time, aku definitely akan dah belajar tinggi punya. But aku dah tak ada time nak belajar, nak O-level, N-level, so aku kena kerja. So bila aku dah fikir macam mana aku nak upgrade diri aku nak cari kerja yang gaji lagi besar. Pasal aku dah boleh tahan, aku tahu aku dah boleh from 5:30 am to wake up, aku balik sampai 12.30, 11.30, continuous repeat. Kira aku rasa aku dah tahu diri aku ni lasak, aku boleh kerja yang long hours, it doesn't matter. So aku bilang diri aku, okay, why not the first step that aku need to do is aku ambil lesen, which is lesen kereta lah. Pasal memang aku dah tak minat motor, so aku pun dah ada anak, aku pun tak boleh nak apa tu, nak ambil lesen motor. So aku decided lah, save duit, aku went to take aku punya car license. Itu part pun sama, bila aku dah dapat tu car license, it's another chapter of my life that aku see that aku growing. And again, that was one of the goals achieved, because itu was actually one of my goals, to get a license. When I think at that point in time, my goal was to get a license before 23, tak salah. Yeah, so aku got my license at 23 ke 24. So aku got my license. When aku got my license, aku pun terus try cari kerja, driver ke apa ke. So that's where aku found a job that that point of time dia letak lah salary dia sampai 3,000 plus. So dulu bila 3,000 kira dah besar gila lah. And me coming from someone who is not highly educated, dapat 3,000 lebih kira dah macam besar. So aku pun okay apply kerja. It was at PSA, tapi not direct PSA, it was a subcontractor. So dia cakap, oh yes you can get salary 3,000 lebih, tapi actually basic 1,800 je. But kau kena OT. Kalau kau OT at this much, then you can get that 3,000 plus. But macam aku cakap, aku tak cerewet. If I know I can get that 3K plus, regardless aku kena OT ke, aku tak payah balik ke, kena kerja ke, apa ke, if it can be able to get me that amount, aku will do it. So itu lah yang aku ambil je. Aku dah tahu that working in the F&B line it's not sustainable for me. Aku decided to switch my career to becoming a prime mover driver. So prime mover driver ni banyak juga. There's a lot of my friends, memang diorang banyak baru keluar. Tapi dulu time kau baru keluar, kau tak boleh kerja PSA. Dulu lah. Sekarang aku tak tahu. Okay. You have to be outside release for at least 1 year, then baru kau boleh masuk. So I don't know about now, but last time during my time tak boleh. So aku dapat kerja as a prime mover driver. Aku dapat kerja prime mover driver. But prime mover driver ni kerja shift rabak. Siapa yang pernah kerja PSA, diorang tahu lah. Shift PSA subcon memang rabak gila. So aku main kerja is 12 hour shift. Masuk kerja pukul 7, habis kerja pun pukul 7. Tapi itu basic je 1,800. I have to OT. Aku kena OT. Aku kena kerja. So aku OT. So aku main OT is aku kerja sampai 7.30 aku start. Habis kerja aku jauh, aku kena bangun 5.30. Sama juga. Tapi aku dah biasa dengan rutin aku. Kerja 7.30, habis 7.30 shift, sambung lagi OT sampai 10.30. Macam gitu je rutin aku. Kerja. Hari-hari 16 jam. Sampai and gaji pun okay, alhamdulillah, dapat 2,000 lebih, 3,000 lebih. But then the good thing was bila aku kerja bagus, then dorang ambil aku, naik pangkat aku jadi prime mover punya supervisor. Orang panggil foreman lah. Ya, baik, sampai kenal aku tahu. Yang dulu aku kat PC, aku jadi foreman. Aku macam that point of time aku rasa that aku makin hari makin happy dengan life aku. That dekat luar orang dah cakap, oh kau tattoo susah nak make it, oh susah nak dapat kerja, susah nak dapat kerja yang ada pangkat. Tapi bila aku get this offer, aku macam really feel besar hati tau. Like sebenarnya asal aku nak kena kisah apa orang cakap kat aku, tapi aku tahu ada orang lain pun nampak the potential in me. So kau may never know yang sebenarnya yang doubting kau, yang judge kau is sebenarnya diri kau sendiri, bukan orang lain. Orang lain cakap 1 minute dia lupa, tapi yang terkesan, the one affected is you yourself. So when I get that offer, I told myself that I keep coming back to my past. Coming from a spoiled teenager, no education, but I'm able to be achieving all this. It's quite impressive honestly. To some people macam, ya elah, boleh lah. But the route of my journey, it wasn't an easy one. Of course, if I studied earlier, I wouldn't have to go through these struggles lah. But what I'm trying to say is I struggled in the past, I suffered in the past, but I rebuilt myself. I rebuilt my mentality. I put faith. I have faith and I know that things can work out. Why you want to doubt yourself? Why you always want to see the negative side of life? Why you have to tell yourself that you cannot make it? So I told you guys, I'm a person who always set goals. So I told myself that I'm going to get a salary of $4,000 by the age of 25. So at that point of time, it seems impossible. But when I did my calculation, I see my progress, I felt that it's possible lah, boleh lah. So when I got that offer, I got a job, and I was happy, alhamdulillah, that itu pun kerja rabak, tapi at least with all those OTs, the long hours, I am able to get about 4K plus, which is aku macam happy gila lah. Aku macam happy gila. And to a point that sampai banyak kawan-kawan aku, yang kawan-kawan lama aku kan, kadang-kadang ini irritating lah. Ini macam siap dia lah, is bila Oh San, kau dah maju sekarang kau dah bagus lah sekarang oh gaji ni macam kau kerja boleh lah kau kerja dalam PSA gaji bayar besar apa, tapi lasak lah. You know, there's always this kind of stereotype comments, this kind of negative comments. So pada aku, macam apa kau buat benda bagus ke benda baik ke, orang tetap akan mengata. But to me, aku tak payah nak impress orang. Aku happy dengan diri aku that I'm better than myself before. Okay, it's not about me to impress you, to show to you that I'm doing good now. I'm doing this is not for you. First thing first, I'm doing this is for myself. Okay, I'm not doing this for me. I believe whatever I do for myself dulu. Because when I better myself, my family will be better. Kalau kau tak perbaiki diri kau, macam mana family kau nak hidup senang? You fix yourself first, then your family will have a better life. So my focus at that point of time was just to focus on myself to be better. When my life is better, my family's life will definitely be way more better. So aku terus kerja, aku dah jadi foreman, aku pun dah start beli kereta, aku dah ada kereta. Alhamdulillah, my life was good at that point of time. My life was good at that point of time. But then, aku laki yang biasa, sama. Macam, you know, bila kau kena duga, when you have a lot of things, when you have achieved a lot of things, kita laki biasa selalu kena duga. So, aku that point of time memang dah a bit lupa diri juga. So, aku pun dah start to do some nonsense stuff. And slowly, aku punya life pun dah start to wobble. So, kereta aku kena tarik. Banyak aku punya problem that point of time. So, it also gave an impact to my life that bila kau achieve something in life, engkau tak boleh lupa your roots. Kau tak boleh lupa kau punya struggle. You must always remember how you manage to achieve now. How do you suffer and sacrifice to get this? Because kita lelaki tend to always forget our roots once we have achieved something. That's why kadang-kadang it's very common bila korang dengar, oh dia ni dah bagus, dah doing well, tapi dah sombong lah sekarang, dah kerek lah sekarang. But that is the part that aku rasa bila it happened for a good reason. Because I think that if that didn't happen, aku rasa aku memang totally lupa diri. So bila aku dah achieve, aku dah ada normal job, aku dah ada gini, dah ada gitu, aku start to lupa diri. And aku terus, what I did was quite bad. Is pasal aku kerja long hours. Okay, aku kerja long hours pasal aku nak kena OT. So actually what happened was, aku took drugs. Because aku nak tahan aku punya ngantuk, to have that adrenaline to work longer hours. I start to mix with people that is involved in drugs. Aku start to involve in drugs. So yeah, that was another episode of Aku Punya Life about my drug stories. Aku will share this more on aku punya next episode. So whatever it is, aku nak bilang korang that apa yang aku nak share ni is something that I'm not proud of, but I just want you guys to avoid as much as possible. Because sometimes apa jenis kita pilih ni, tak semestinya oh tak apa aku jahat sekarang, satu hari aku akan berubah. Itu kalau kau berubah, kalau kau dapat berubah. Ada orang dia cakap besok dia nak berubah, selama-lamanya dia tak berubah, end up hidup dia kat dalam sampai mampus. So aku akan share more about aku punya drug stories in the next episode. So you guys stay tuned. I'll see you guys.